going through a lot of pain of just not following my rules.
Mhm.
Revenge trading or whatever, like risking too much, just jumping into random trades.
You yourself, you did really well as well. I think it was 10K in total, around $10,000 in total from
Yeah.
Audacity Capital.
But it basically had led me to trade Forex and mainly gold. For me, that's what's been working the best for me in my strategy.
Would you have any other tips that you would give probably to your younger self? Let's say that you're talking about to yourself a few years ago when you were starting out. What tips would you give to that trader?
I like to use a lot of like volume, session volumes and range volumes,
Mhm.
looking for point of controls, value area highs, value area lows, and combine that with support and resistance levels.
One day probably you just need to say, okay, that's enough. I know this is going to cause the pain again, so
Yeah.
why not just to strictly follow the rules?
Well, my name is Jacob, and I am from Sweden. 35-year-old trader, investor. Came into the financial markets by through like Bitcoin back in 2015. For me, at least, it was like the first time I heard about like the Bitcoin and crypto thing. So I started investing like in crypto and Bitcoin, but at that time I didn't know anything about like the financial markets, like how and why the market moves the way that it does. It got me thinking about like how do I learn like is there a reason for why the market moves the way it moves, you know? So yeah, that's basically how my first introduction to like trading and the financial markets.
And now, are you still trading crypto or are you trading different market assets?
Yeah, I've moved basically more into Forex. Now for me, it's more investing in crypto or day trading, like the Forex market, and mainly the trading gold. That's like what I do mainly right now.
All right, whereas in gold, smart. Yeah, there's a lot of traders actually these days, especially in past 2 years, that have made quite a lot on trading gold. You yourself, you did really well as well. I think it was 10K in total, around $10,000 in total from
Yeah.
Audacity Capital. Can you give us a little bit about your trading style, your trading strategy? What type of a trader are you, and how do you approach markets?
First of all, I can just tell you about my how I actually got into day trading, going from like crypto and just investing to actually go into day trading. Came across a guy who was actually trading Bitcoin actively, not only investing but actually trading it. So I found his content to be very good, and I could feel he knew what he was talking about. So I ended up
Mhm.
buying his course and spending like hundreds of hours just going through all the content, learning all the technical stuff, and then put it into practice. Also has been a long journey, but it basically had led me to trade Forex and mainly gold. For me, that's what's been working the best for me in my strategy.
So you're currently trading the strategy that you have learned during the course that you have taken,
Yeah.
and it's simply just technical analysis, right? Like a price
Yeah.
action, more or less type of a analysis,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but basically what I do is I try to identify like, are we in the trend, or are we ranging, and from there I like to use a lot of like volume, session volumes and range volumes,
Mhm.
looking for point of controls, value area highs, value area lows, and combine that with support and resistance levels. And find as many confluences. So yeah, that's a little bit about my strategy.
Now, when it comes to your risk management, how much do you usually risk when you go for the trade?
Yes, I usually risk around 1 to 2% per trade. Yeah, you have to stay disciplined. It's a hard thing in this in this industry. Also learned like the lessons of risking too much over trading. So I put like a hard rule for myself that if I like lose two straight trades in a row in a day, I will like stop trading for the day, and then
Mhm.
yeah, take a step back, analyze, what went wrong or why I was on the wrong side of the trade, and try to learn from that. So
Yeah, I mean, on the next topic that I wanted to bring, you already touched on that because you said yourself you used to be oversizing or having too big of a position, over trading, and there's so many traders who basically set for themselves some sort of a rules, and then eventually they do not follow the rules. Is there something specific in your journey, like the hardest challenge, the hardest obstacle that you had to overcome in your trading journey, and that basically were stopping you from succeeding the way that you succeeded now?
yeah, no, as I said, for me, I think it was like going through a lot of pain of just not following my rules. You know,
Mhm.
revenge trading or whatever, like risking too much, just jumping into random trades. And to be honest, it's still like an ongoing process to become a better like disciplined trader.
So you still do the mistakes, even knowing like you should be very strict on yourself, because
Yeah.
this is a big topic for every trader is kind of breaking its own rules. Yet no one kind of figured out how to stop and break the loop where you basically doing
Mhm.
the same thing all over again, breaking the rules, ending up losing the evaluation or the funded account. Yet, did you find any holy grail for that?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it came down to basically my brain telling me this is the pain that you're gonna experience if you're gonna take this trade without following your rules. So although it can happen, it's like not that common for me today. But back then it was like all the time I couldn't like keep to my rules. But through the pain, I've learned, you know, to be more patient and strict, and always remind me before I put on the trade, like is this trade like is it going to follow your setups and your rules for a setup, or is this more of a like FOMO trade, you know? Through that journey, I think I've learned to be more patient and have more strict rules for myself and be able to follow them.
I think you can't become a successful trader without that pain. That would remind you, do not do that one mistake that you used to do. And that was the reason why you as a trader, I'm not talking like specifically just about you, because there's 99% of traders who are dealing with the same issue, the same pain. And one day probably you just need to say, okay, that's enough. I know this is going to cause the pain again. So
Yeah,
why not just to strictly follow the rules?
yeah,
Because
exactly.
there's not any holy grail in this. That's basically just going through that painful process of being a trader. So
Yeah,
yeah, 100% agree with that.
every trader needs to like go through that journey to
Mhm.
learn like through the pain, you know. Maybe some persons are different, that they can be like strict right away, follow the rules, but I think it's a
Mhm.
part of the journey to have those setbacks and before you can be more consistent.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Would you have any other tips that you would give, probably to your younger self? Let's say that you're talking about to yourself a few years ago when you were starting out. What tips would you give to that trader? Just
Mhm.
what would you say to your younger self?
Yeah, no, for me, I think um, to be more patient, you know.
Mhm.
As in the beginning stage of trading, you saw like people like getting these big payouts, you know, and you want to be one of them, you know. Be more patient, don't rush the process, and just be consistent and learn every day. Also learn from your like losing trades. I think that's where you can do like more learning than your winning trades.
And probably the last question that I would have on you regarding you trading with Audacity Capital. What was your experience so far trading with Audacity Capital?
What I really like about Audacity Capital is firstly, they've been in the industry for a very long time, one of the first prop firms, I believe. And they have a really good reputation. So that's what I've looked for in a prop firm, you know, a prop firm that has been along for a long time. I've been also the victim of like going for a maybe not a very established prop firm, and then they went away. No, I think Audacity Capital is very reliable, simple rules to follow. No consistency rules, so I think it's very favorable for the trader.